Okay, so now we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about on-site SEO, right? So we've done our keyword research. We know what keywords we want to target. Now what do we do? So first off, we have to look closely at our website. So let's start with this. What makes up a great website, right? There's the functionality of the website, what people are able to do. Are they able to live chat with you? Does that make sense for your organization? Is it easy to use? Is the site mobile friendly? Do the fonts look good? Is the site responsive, meaning that it reshapes itself based on the size of the screen that somebody is viewing it on, which is a best practice in web design? Is the navigation easy to understand? Or do I have this drop down with 300 service pages that makes it really hard to find what I'm looking for as a user? Is the content any good? Do I have enough content? Do I need a blog? The answer is yes, but am I producing good content on my website? Then technical SEO considerations. Are the various tags on the website optimized properly? Am I using the keywords that I'm targeting in the body content, the text of my website's pages? The visual design, how does the site look? Is it ugly? Is it great? The best thing to do, in my opinion, if you want quick feedback, is send your email out to a bunch of people and say, what do you think? What do you hate about this website? What do you love about this website? You'd be surprised how much good feedback you'll get back. Send it to your family members, or if you want to send it to people that are not invested at all in your website and would probably give you good news, even if it doesn't call for it, send it to whoever. But the visual design is very, very important. Ugly websites tend to have a high bounce rate. Obviously, what you consider ugly in a website is kind of subjective, but usually if you go to a website and you see it on that first load, you know whether or not it's a pretty website, right? Interactive features, what can people do on my website? Am I making it easy to contact me? Do I have click-to-call set up so that somebody can just go to my website on their mobile device, click on my phone number and call me, making it a very seamless way to get a conversion, right? And then conversion points. Am I making it clear what I want people to do? This is a huge issue that I see in a lot of websites where you have these call to actions and they're buried somewhere. It's a tiny little link at the bottom of a page that says, are you interested in contacting us? Contact us here, instead of a button that'll be much easier for people to see and then actually perform that function and convert, right? These all get incorporated into SEO, right? So the quality of your website matters a lot. Google is able to see things like bounce rate, the percentage of people that head to your website, go there, and then leave immediately, right? That's a bad thing. You don't want a high bounce rate usually. So if Google's seeing that, they know you have a poor website. So don't think that this is a situation where I have a bad website. As long as I optimize for the keywords that I'm going for, I'm going to be just fine. It doesn't work out that way, right? You need to have a great website. One of the reasons why is that no one links to a crummy site. It's a phenomenon, right? If you're trying to acquire third-party links from other publishers, from other news sites back to your website, but your site is terrible, it's probably not going to happen. They're going to click on your website and they're going to see that it's terrible and they're not going to want to redirect their users to your website, right? Nobody links to a crummy site. This is a great example of BMW. Some of you may know this if you're in the SEO space, but this is a big thing when it happened, where what they had done is they set up all these crummy doorway pages, meaning they created all these hundreds of landing pages targeting a single keyword. So for example, BMW sedan, okay? And they create a landing page on their website where if you search for BMW sedan, you get to this landing page and they had all this terrible text content where all it was is just saying BMW sedan over and over and over and over again. Everything was tagged with BMW sedan. There's no value to the consumer, right? They get to this page, it stinks, then they leave. Google dinged BMW and actually de-indexed their site temporarily so that they could fix this issue. They don't want a poor user experience to be in the Google search results. So BMW, even a company of their size, made a significant mistake when it came to SEO because they had this junky situation set up with their doorway pages on their website and their rankings tanked. They were de-indexed for a little while and they're still working on playing catch up. This is a huge thing, right? And this is another thing, just kind of as an aside, don't take shortcuts, right? No doubt you've gotten emails from people that have said, hey, do you want to buy these 100,000 high domain authority links that I have for you? Don't fall for it, right? If there's a route to getting first page rankings that seems too good to be true, it probably is. And 9 times out of 10, your website is going to get dinged from Google and you're not going to have your desired outcome, which is getting better rankings, getting more organic traffic to your site. So again, remember that no one links to a bad site, right? So let's talk about, okay, we have our keywords. Now, what do we optimize on our web page? Now, keep in mind, this is a situation where you may need your developer's help if you're not savvy with how to update your code or how to update different areas of your website. If you're using a tool like Wix or Squarespace and you go to that SEO tab, you'll be able to affect a lot of these items there. If you're using a WordPress site, there's plugins that allow you to optimize pages without having to know how to code. There's one that I use that's called Yoast that I highly recommend. It's fantastic. And there is a free version of it that will allow you to optimize all the different pages on your website without having to know how to code. But you can see this just an example from Kohl's where, if they're targeting handbags, you can see that in the header tag, which you can tell by it's usually the larger text on the page. They're using the term handbags, purses, and accessories. In their URL, they have the term handbags. Their title tag, which we're going to go through the value of a title tag in just a moment, they're using handbags and accessories. In their alt tag, meaning the image tag that they have, they're using the term handbags. In their body copy, they're talking about handbags. So throughout this entire landing page that someone could find on Kohl's that's related to handbags, purses, and accessories, you can see that they have highly optimized to the keyword handbags and the handbags, purses, and accessories specifically with the intent of somebody searches for a handbag and they get to Kohl's website, right? Now, a quick aside on meta descriptions. So the meta description of a page is what you see as a description in Google for that page. So if you go to Google and you search for something, you'll see the link, and then right underneath that, you'll see a description. The meta description technically doesn't provide any additional SEO value, meaning if you go in and optimize all your meta descriptions, it's unlikely that you're going to see an increase in organic traffic or an increase in rankings. But what it does do is it allows you to differentiate yourself in the search results. Meaning, if you think of somebody looking for handbags or purses or accessories, and they go to Google and they see a link and for Kohl's side by side with all their other competitors that are optimizing for handbags, purses, and accessories, what Kohl's can do is put in their meta description, we have free shipping and returns, right? That's a really easy way to differentiate from any competitor that's not offering that. So any differentiators, any calls to action that would cause somebody to click on your link, right? You want to add that in your meta description tag, okay? And this is something where you really need to have an individual meta description written for every single page on your site. Same with the title tag, which we're going to go through in just a moment. But again, this is your opportunity to stand out in the search results and get people to click on your link versus a competitor link, okay? So if there's only one thing that you do from a technical perspective for SEO that as a takeaway from this session, it's to optimize your title tags, okay? Often by going through figuring out those keywords that you want to optimize for, and then optimizing specifically the title tag of each page on your site, in all likelihood, you're probably going to see an increase in organic traffic. And this is a project that could take you a day if your site's relatively small, right? But what you're going to do is you're going to find those keywords that you want to optimize for, find the appropriate page related to that keyword, and then add that into the title tag. Each page on the website needs its own title tag, right? And this is something where if you're using Wix, Squarespace, some other website builder, they probably have some SEO module where you can write the title tags for each individual page yourself. Or if you have WordPress, you could use Yoast. If you have a custom site, it might be a little bit more challenging. You'll probably have to enlist your developer's help. But this is very, very important. Optimize your title tags. Okay, so body content and copy. So I use Zoom as an example here because I think they do a particularly good job in writing the body content on their site. So we're using Zoom now. Something's working for them, obviously. So, when they talk about their meeting solutions, it's very non-technical, right? That they're really providing the information that somebody's looking for. Focus on your meeting. Click record and leave the note-taking to Zoom's auto-generated searchable transcripts, right? Very easy to understand, but they're also optimizing to mobile meetings as a keyword, right? You'll see it throughout their content, mobile meetings, but they're not over-optimizing. They're not beating the people over the head with the keyword mobile meetings, even though for this particular page, that's what they're optimizing for. It's very fluid in how their copy flows. It's easy to read, it's conversational. Then they're also optimizing to mobile meetings. Okay, I have another joke for you. It's almost as bad as the first one. So what do you call it when a search engine optimizer has twins? Anybody? Looking at the chat, who knows the joke? Who knows the joke? Any guesses? What do you call it when a search engine optimizer has twins? Duplicate content, right? Duplicate content. So So basically what duplicate content is if you have 2 pages on your site that are the same, that's duplicate content. You don't want that, right? You don't want to have 2 identical pages on your website or 2 paragraphs of content on your website that are exactly the same. What you're going to do if you do that is confuse Google. They're not going to know which page to rank and index, so they might not rank either one, right? You're actually hurting the SEO value of both pages. Also, don't plagiarize. Don't go to your competitor websites, copy their best blog posts, put it on your blog. It should go without saying, but I've seen this before. That's, again, duplicate content, and because they posted it first and probably have what's called a canonical tag, that means that they're the original source for that, which a lot of website builders just add to your pages by default. They're going to know that one's first, and you're not going to get any value from it. So duplicate content is a big no-no, right? Avoid duplicate content. And also, another takeaway from this, if you're going to optimize your body content, once you've done the keyword research and you figure out the keywords that you want to optimize to, talk like a human. Don't keyword stuff. There is no hard and fast rule that says, you know, for a paragraph of text, you should have your keyword X amount of times. Use it, read through it. If it sounds optimized to you, it probably is optimized to your users, and in turn is going to seem optimized to Google, which is not really what you want, right? You want it to be fluid, you want it to flow, you want it to be conversational. Okay, so the header tags, they used to have a lot more value back in the day, but basically when you go to a website and you see those headers where the font is bigger than the body content below it, that's a header tag. And that's actually something that's tagged in the code of that page that says this is a header. It's used to give search engines more information about the page and also to provide a good user experience to users so that your content's broken up with different headers. This is a great place to add the keywords that you want to target, but again, don't over-optimize. If it sounds spammy to you, it's going to seem spammy to a user, and it's going to seem spammy to search engines, okay? Okay, so internal links, so very, very important. What internal links do is it helps Google to understand what that link is pointed to. Now, the text that you see, so in this example, this is a part of Amazon's site. You see the text is "See the latest arrivals from Shopbop," okay, a brand that's selling on Amazon, right? So that link, the text that you see, is what's called the anchor text, okay? That's the text that then leads to a link, okay? Now, that anchor text that you see, Google's gonna crawl that, and they're gonna see in this instance, okay, if I index this page, I know that this is about the latest arrivals from Shopbop, right? This is about the latest arrivals from Shopbop. This helps me understand what this link is pointing to. You wanna have an interlinking structure in your website where relevant pages are linked to each other, right? So if you have a website where you have a great blog and you're releasing content on an ongoing basis, a great tactic is on your homepage, have some sort of widget that's feeding your blog post into your homepage and then have it linking, right? So that people are able to get to that blog post that you wrote directly from your homepage. Google and search engines are gonna see that and say, hey, they have this great linking structure in place. They're using anchor text that then is appropriate for the page that people land on once they actually click that link. That's a good thing. I'm going to reward this particular website with higher rankings and more organic traffic, right? Image tags. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. This is a picture from Tesla's website. This is a great alt tag, okay? So basically what an alt tag is, this is another tag that you can do in the back end of your site. If you're using like a Wix or a Squarespace, I believe there's a spot where you can update the alt text for individual images. If you have a WordPress site, there's a plugin for that as well. Or you can just go to your media center and update it. Or you may need a developer's help for this. But every image on your website should have an alt tag that describes what that image is about. So if I look at this, I know this is about a red Model S that's accelerating down an oceanside highway. You don't need the keyword stuff here. Just make it descriptive so that people can understand what you're talking about. Oh, I just realized we're at 1 p.m. So we might go a little long. Try to speed up slightly. I apologize if people have to jump off. And if there's additional questions that I'm not able to answer by 1:15, feel free to DM me or post on social and I will get back to you. Then meta descriptions. Again, we've talked about this where it's your call to action to get people into your website. This is a really important one, right? Changing the URL. So if you change a URL on your website, which I don't recommend doing often, okay, what you need to do is implement what's called a 301 redirect. Basically what that's gonna do is it's gonna tell Google, this is the old page, we have the same content, but it's up on this new page. This is where I want people to go. This is where people are going to be redirected to. And what's actually going to happen in practice is if somebody goes to the old URL, they're going to go to the appropriate new URL on your site, right? And when Google sees that, essentially what you're doing is you're transferring all that SEO value from that initial URL to whatever the new URL is. So Google Search Console, this is a fantastic tool to do a bunch of different things. So first off, to check your performance in SEO in Google, this is a key tool that you need to use for that. To remedy any manual action, so if Google's having trouble indexing your site, or if you get hacked and all your pages go down, you may just get notified directly through Google Search Console, which will save you some, hopefully, headaches because you'll be notified about it quickly. It'll also allow you to submit XML sitemaps, which basically you're submitting a sitemap to Google. It makes it easier for them to crawl, which then makes it faster for your content to be indexed by Google. Also, the same tool exists for Bing. So often people forget about Bing. Yes, the search volume is much smaller on Bing than it is on Google, but it's still very important. Okay, don't neglect Bing. Also, you need a fast and mobile-friendly website. A very easy tool to determine if Google thinks your site is fast. Go to Google PageSpeed Insights, drop the URL of your website into this tool, and it's going to tell you how well optimized Google thinks that page is from a speed perspective. There's tons of studies that have been done that show that every additional second that it takes for a page on your website to load, your conversion rate drops exponentially, right? People are used to they're used to using Amazon and very fast apps and websites where things load very, very quickly, if not almost instantaneously. If they go to your website and it takes 5 or 6 seconds for a page to load, they're going to bounce, right? Speed is so important to your website and very important for SEO as well. Okay, now Screaming Frog. This is a great tool and really is kind of, in some ways, the core of an SEO's toolkit. This is also a great starting point if you're looking to create an SEO strategy. Basically what this does is this tool scans your entire website and then tells you everything that's going on. It shows you all the pages that are live on your website, all the title tags for those pages, all the meta descriptions for those pages, all the header tags being used on those pages. It's a really good tool to get an understanding in a very, very detailed way of exactly how your website's currently optimizing and if there's issues with it. And then what I often end up doing is exporting all the pages here, and that turns into my SEO workbook. So I have a list of an Excel spreadsheet with a list of all my page URLs. It shows me what the current title tag is. If I'm updating the title tag, I can add it to that spreadsheet and show over time the progress that I've made. This is a great tool. It's not free. I forget exactly how much it costs, or maybe it's free up to a certain amount of pages. But this is a great one if you're looking for a very good SEO tool to work off